Hi there. I'm just wanting to do a little talk, and I want to talk about the fact that when you have this when I had this unexpected spiritual awakening at the age of 24, 32 now, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 31. So, a while, just about 8 years, had it, and there's people, and what I found is after I had it, I went on the internet, tried to find out what it was, and I didn't know, obviously, at the start. I knew it was a spiritual experience, but you think so differently from from what you could say the normal. And then what's happening when you awaken, and people talk about the matrix. Well, the matrix is the program, and everything around us is programming us. And then when you spiritually awaken, you're aware now of this. It's like you've become absolutely self-aware. And it's like, oh my God, I'm completely programmed. And then you're like unraveling, it's like unboxing all the programming. And you're getting back to the true self. And to do it, you've got to go backwards. You've got to think, how did this programming get there? How did that programming get there? And it's 8 years I've been this path now and still going on. And it really is a hard, I am on this path ever since the spiritual awakening. It's been relentless, and working all the time, going within and unraveling this and unwrapping this matrix self and getting to the pure self, the true self, which is before you're programmed. Right, which is the true self, and programming can go on in other lives also. The true self I'm talking about is the state of, before anything's influenced you, is the state of infinite love. And that's what we are really, and that's what you sense along the way of awakening. You sense this, and it gets stronger and stronger the more you're developing with that. And the true self is a state of where you love everything. The reason why is because when you awaken, you realize that everything's actually you. And you've got this unconditional love because of the fact that you can have life. You're so grateful. And it's you that's doing it. So it's like you're loving yourself, and you've realized that you're the actual God. And there's no separation. And so, and the other thing and that I talk about a lot, and even before this awaken, I didn't like war, and and I still don't like war, and I say something that people don't like, and this is an obvious truth that the asleep person doesn't see. That if I have a business, if nobody comes to the business, if no one comes there, if no one is working for me or coming to my business as well, I can't run it. It's the same with wars. Wars can't run by themselves. You need soldiers, you need an army. You need armies. So when you look at it like that, it's actually us that are to blame for actually the wars. And it's actually everyone, it's like people talk about climate change. I'm not saying if it's real or it's a hoax, but what I'm saying is that when you see the adverts for it, like on television, I don't watch a lot of television, but when it's on, if someone else is watching it, they try and promote this climate change hoax thing. But when they say we all have to make a difference, that's exactly what everyone is doing. Every thought you think is affecting you. That affects the next space to you. Then they feel something, then they affect. So everything's affecting each other. Right? It all affects everything you think and feel affects everything else. Right? So there's no such thing as saying, oh, you shouldn't blame the soldiers. You shouldn't say this, Sean. Yes, I should. Because slavery is a choice. Freedom is a choice. I learned from this awakening that everything is a choice. We are all making conscious and subconscious decisions, but the asleep really means that you're not self-aware. Asleep really means that you're like asleep. You're like a zombie. You're like completely controlled, and you don't have your own mind. Your mind has been completely programmed, and you're just repeating what the programming's telling you to say, and what it's trained you to say. Awakened really means you're aware now of all this programming, and that's how you're able to heal yourself. And anyone can do it. You know, the thing about me is I was so depressed that I had enough. And I learned that when you have enough, you awaken. And I had enough, and then it was like a within power was coming through me. And that's the soul. And I was letting that through because I had enough. And when you do have enough, that's what happens. That's how you awaken. You don't awaken by going to some... You could go to a spiritual location full of spiritually ascended people, of people that have had spiritual awakenings for years, they've been developing. But you can't get to their level if you're just around them. You have to go within. You have to do what they're doing. They're communicating with their soul. That's the only way you ascend at the quickest level. Your spiritual teacher and guide, your real one, isn't me, it's your soul. But regarding the soldier thing and everything and wars, it's such a simple mathematic to see that it's us that make everything happen in the world. And nobody, when you say this, people look lost. Because what I realise is that they've actually been brainwashed and programmed to not realise what you're saying. And to not be aware of what you're saying. And to believe that governments are like, when actually governments are a lot less people than the masses. Right? The people, everyday people, is a lot more than in, say, a government. The people of a city is a lot more than the local mayor or whatever. Right? So we are the many. So it's us, the people, that make everything possible, or not. But people have been programmed to actually believe that they have no power. Because they've been programmed to believe this. I remember I once watched a John Lennon interview on YouTube, and it was years ago, and he was saying that what he was trying to do is bring the power back to people by educating them that they have the power, this power. But they still in 2019, for a minute there I didn't even know what year it was. I think that's because I'm always telling myself that time's an illusion, and it is. That's another thing that happened with this awakening. You realise that there is no dimensions, there is no nothing. Because everything must start as nothing, so therefore you can't have something from nothing, but that's another thing. But armies and soldiers and stuff, but when it comes to the poppy thing, no one is like taking responsibility. No one is like saying, oh, we're to blame for wars, you know, we mustn't do this again. They're not saying that. They're just like calling everyone a hero that's taken part in wars. And if you actually say that's evil or something, then you're the bad one. Because the programmed people, the asleep people, have been programmed. But the problem with this awakening is that people have had awakenings, and all over the planet, and that we've all got the same opinion. And so what's happened is this awakening's growing and growing and growing, and the sleep people are thinking, wait a minute, science is saying the same things, these doctors are saying the same things as them, these awakened people are saying the same thing, so that means that we must be wrong then. No, you're not wrong. It's just that you've been programmed to believe that there's a right or a wrong. Everything must start from nothing, meaning that they can't be a yes or a no. But yes or no, right or wrong, good and evil are made up. Everything must, if you have nothing, everything after nothing has to be made up, right? So all forms, all numbers are made up then, if everything starts at nothing. You've got to have a point where there's actually a clean slate, right? You've got to have that point where there's a clean slate. But if there's nothingness, then the other problem is that there would be no clean slate if there's nothing. And the reason that is because nothingness, infinity, that means it's always. It means there's never a start point, you see, and that's another confusing thing. Paradoxical kind of thing that came with this awakening, that you realise there's not a start point. But anyway, I'm just going to end it there. Thank you much for watching. Thank you.